Alright, as you can see from this wide shot of my little gaming haven here at my home, I have a problem. I can't get enough screens. So I have 1, 2, 3, which is the phone that's capturing this video right now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's not counting the one laptop there, 16, and the laptop that my wife uses in her daily life. That's my wife's area. This is my area. That laptop is still mine. This obsession with screens, of course, stems from the fact that, one, I am a creative director by trade, so of course I want to see like everything that I'm working on in full fidelity, like visually. Second, and it's also kind of related to the first, when it comes to gaming, I also want to be like super in control. So when I'm playing, I like to like bring up data stuff, I like to bring out guides, I like to bring out like tutorials on what I'm doing, because I usually min-max stuff in my games. But while I consider this setup my end game, especially this one, the super ultra wide, my end game setup, like Maxwell Lord said,
life is good, but it can be better.
And that better comes in the form of OLED screens. Most of my screens aren't OLED yet. This is still an IPS panel. This is a mini LED. That is a mini LED. Most of the OLED stuff that I have, which is the ASUS ZenBook Fold 17 OLED, is a laptop. Then my phones are OLED, but the big screens aren't. I haven't gotten around to upgrading to OLEDs yet because of the price. But this monitor that I'm gonna unbox today claims to have the solution for that. Kevin Evangelista of Rationale. Let's take a look at the Bezel Prime 2. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna have to clear out this table to unbox this. Inside this box is the Bezel Prime 2, a 27-inch 240Hz gaming OLED monitor that's got an interesting price tag to go along with it. But before we get to that, let's check out what's inside. Upon opening up the box, we get the panel itself, which is thin at the sides with a thick spot in the middle back where most of the power and hardware reside. Like other OLED displays, this has a glossy finish at the business end. Inside, we get the stand, which feels sturdy and of very good quality, the base, the external power brick, and of course an included DisplayPort cable. The bare essentials. Before we assemble the monitor, let's check out the features in the ports. As we can see here, we get a 3.5mm audio jack out, the DC power in, 2 HDMI ports, and a DisplayPort. I was hoping to see some USB-C here, but the non-inclusion is alright. There is a little joystick-style power and navigation button here as well. It seems to support VESA mounts here at the back, but it's slightly recessed because of the stand's mounting mechanism. If you do plan to VESA mount this, you might need to get some standoffs so your mount will sit tight and flush against the body. At the top here, we can see that there is an ambient RGB LED strip, but it doesn't look big enough to be super visible. It's not going to be bouncing light off the walls. Points for including one, though. Alright, that's the display. Assembling the stand is easy enough. You just need to fix the stand to the base using these 2 screws and latch the stand to the back of the monitor. Alright, time to test it out. So before I start my testing, I set up HDR on this monitor because it's an OLED, and that's what you should do with OLED monitors. We're going to go through a simple gauntlet of tests for today. First off, we're testing image quality. Initial banding and contrast tests give us very good results, with no discernible color banding nor color temperature inconsistencies. Our 240Hz HDR test came back really good as well and really demonstrates what I think is a good benchmark on the image quality of this monitor. My cameras can't do it justice. Images are bright, vivid, and contrasty, and true blacks are not splotchy nor discolored. It's of my preferred resolution too. 1080p on 27 inches just doesn't work for me. 1440p, like this one, is really nice. 4K on 27 inches is also alright, a bit overkill. It's also hard to drive, so I prefer 1440p on 27 inches. Moving on to performance, I performed the UFO test on this and it passed with flying colors, as you can see. The 240Hz band showed no signs of excessive blur or image trailing, while the 120 and 60 FPS band understandably had predictable amounts of trailing. Frame skipping test at 240Hz also produced great results, with no evidence of frame skipping and consistent quality per frames. And lastly, we do have to test it out in games. And like the tests, we've got one for speed and one for image quality. Starting with the speed test, we've got Valorant here, and in my experience, it's overall good. And for context, I previously played this on a 165Hz mini LED screen. Now moving on over to OLED, I can definitely appreciate the better image quality because this no longer relies on full array local dimming for the image, as well as the inherent faster response of OLED pixels. While I'm nowhere near pro enough to notice the difference between 165Hz and 240Hz, I wasn't able to notice any panel delays or frame skips either. Just a solid, stable, and quick experience all throughout. Great job here, Bezel. Moving on over to our image test, we've got Forza Horizon 6. Since this is a relatively new and reasonably demanding game at max settings, I won't be able to run it at its full 240Hz frame rate. But it is a very pretty game, and that's what matters in this test. And as you can see, Forza Horizon 6 looks damn amazing on a fast, great performing OLED panel. It looks punchy and saturated. It really brings out the beauty of virtual Japan in this game. And before we end the tests, I would like to point out that while the OSD menu for the monitor is by and large standard fare, do keep in mind that if you want to use the HDR function, you're going to need to set your image settings to standard. And yes, since it is an OLED display, it has OLED care functions not only built in, but also easily accessible. And of course, some are turned on by default, like the screen timeout if an image stays stationary on the screen for a certain period of time, and pixel shift. Very useful additions here, Bezel. So, what do we think about the Bezel Prime 2 240Hz gaming OLED monitor? Well, for around 40,000 Philippine pesos or around $600 estimate, it's a well-performing gaming monitor that undercuts a lot of the competition. I don't have the exact panel details that Bezel used for the Prime 2, but I can hazard a guess that it's an LGW OLED as its specs and performance line up with some of its competitors. But taking a step back and looking at the big name competition, this is undercutting everything at an average of like 30%. The gold standard ROG Swift PG27AQ-DM and the MSI MPG27IQ OLED models have the advantage of advanced software that usually only big name brands can deliver. But the relatively closer competition comes in the forms of the Aorus FO27Q3 as well as the Alienware AW2725TF, super long-ass names, and from what I can read, they perform and look the same. We're just seeing a case of better build quality and included accessories out of the box from the big-name brands. And at best, they come with a premium of around 13,000 pesos or around $200 estimated over this. As it stands now, I can definitely recommend the Bezel Prime 2 if you're looking to upgrade to an OLED gaming monitor. As for me, the only thing left to ask is, where do I put this? I'll probably keep it here. Yeah, here's fine. So that's the Bezel Prime 2 OLED 240Hz gaming monitor. If you have any questions about it, leave them down in the comment and I'll do my best to answer it. While you're there, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. It helps out a lot. That's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!